From every 4 accounts I've been purchasing, I've been blowing 3 of them. And in this video, I want to show you with full transparency all my data, all my numbers, and basically understand why or what's mainly the reason I keep buying accounts so that I have kind of like that goal in mind, which is $10,000 in payouts. So in simple words, the reason why I keep purchasing Evals. So this right here, it's gonna be the most authentic and honest video. I know most traders never show this type of data, but I'm going to do it with full transparency because we need to understand that trading is a business and we need to treat it as it is. A business with numbers, with revenue, with investments, and also with ROI, right? So let's dive into it. In simple words, I've been backtesting and basically trading a system in the futures market to get to $10,000 in payouts. And of course, after that, start scaling. If we actually see right here, this is my backtesting data, 50.9% win rate. These are basically, and I've tested a total of 561 trades, all in the New York session. Let's understand that I also have this data in Asia session and also basically, for example, at 8:30 a.m. New York time when there's news that I revert the news. So I basically take a lot of trades every day because I'm taking 1 trade per account, right? And in simple words, the main reason about this video is just showing you guys the reason why I keep purchasing accounts, specifically what accounts I'm buying, and also understanding a bit more about what's going on behind the scenes. So first of all, there's a big difference in terms of what I was expecting at the beginning of trading futures, also in terms of what I was expecting based on my backtesting data and what's going on in real market conditions. First of all, we can right away see that my win rate when trading live is 44.7% instead of a 50.9%. This is basically based on big sample sizes. I've gathered even more than 561 trades, for example, using Forex Replay or Forex Tester. So I have more than 1,000 trades. That proves that my win rate is above 50%. And if we actually see this number right here, we have a 44.7%. But the thing that is even a bit more worrying, or the thing that's even a bit more complicated, that is of course causing me to have a negative ROIs in this 1.5 months that I've been trading this system, is the fact that my pass rate is 25%. Based on my backtest and also based on using AI, Fable 5 specifically, to review this, I had a 88%, right? 88% with a $300 risk. Of course, if I'm risking more, this is going to decrease. So by risking what I'm risking on challenges, $1,000, it was basically around a 40% pass rate. Why it's 25%? Well, that's exactly why I created this journal, so that we can, as soon as I journal basically my trades, I can, my mistake, I haven't actually journaled this last 2 days because I was working basically. But if we actually see this column right here, it's in Spanish, but it basically says if I follow my rule or not. And clearly we can see that there's a lot of trades that I didn't respect my rules. And that's exactly why this specific number right here has decreased substantially. It was basically at 40%, but this last couple of days I tilted, I overtraded, I blew accounts in just 1 day, which basically that's impossible because I take 1 trade per account, 1,000 risk. If I lose that trade, I trade the account the next day. That's it. So I can't basically lose accounts in 1 day, but I did. And that's exactly why my numbers look like this. If we actually review this specific data, I've invested so far 1,753 USD with a total return of 0. I've basically had 0 payouts. If we actually go to the section of payouts, you guys can see that it's literally empty because I've received 0 payouts, always showing you everything with full transparency. So my ROI right now is 100% down. If we actually see the numbers, I didn't trade January, February, March, April, May, and June. I started actually trading mid-July. I invested $938 in Evals in July with 0 payouts. On August, I've invested so far $814 with 0 payouts as well. What's my monthly budget? It's basically 2,000 USD. So I'm still in the bracket, I'm still in the range, so everything is good to go. And right now you guys might be wondering, why are you still buying accounts? Why are you still purchasing Evals if you have such a bad ROI, if you just blown accounts and you have made 0 money so far? I'm gonna explain that in a second, but just let me get something straight. It's basically very important to show you guys some of the accounts I've been getting and some of the accounts I'm gonna keep purchasing, because this is very important, because based on my numbers and also based on my data, we need to understand that not every firm works for each account. So for example, if I open this platform that is called Profit Match, I've spoke about this platform thousands of times, and I definitely recommend it to every single one of you guys if you're planning to buy accounts, if you're planning, of course, to go aggressive on the futures like I'm doing right now. Because on this specific website, you guys are going to find not only the best firms that are, of course, audited and listed on Profit Match, that Profit Match only lists accounts or firms that are actually paying out their customers and are trustworthy. And number two, you're going to find the best discounts out there. So let me just dive deep into what accounts I'm getting right here. First of all, one of the accounts that I've purchased the most accounts so far that you guys are going to see in the screen right now, it's Lucid Trading. Lucid Trading definitely just ranking number one. I just believe it's the best prop firm for futures specifically in the industry right now. 115 reviews, 4.5 stars. You guys can basically have max allocation of 1.5 million. And right now, as you guys can see with this promo code, you guys can get a 40% off that you guys are offering. I believe if you guys are new customers, you can get a 50% off. I might be wrong, but well, it's basically all good. And if we actually open Lucid and we basically check a bit more about the account, we can dive deep into the roles, we can dive deep into what's going on with each account, and also see if they actually audit their payouts or not. If we, for example, check in this case, if we click on payouts, Lucid Trading is one of the firms that audit their payouts and is basically powered by Profit Match, which basically means that they give the numbers to Profit Match so that Profit Match can audit basically all these numbers and make sure that this specific payouts, that every trader that is requesting a payout is actually getting paid out. And in simple words, seeing how much payouts they have disbursed to their customers. In this case, in the last 365 days, basically 600 million, guys. This is just insane. $600 million in payouts in the last 365 days. If we actually see the last 7 days, we can see the most updated information, and they have paid out $22 million to their traders with a total of 13,911 payouts. And also we can see the median time of paying out. It's about 2 hours. So basically this means that if you guys request a payout, you're going to get the payout in about 2 hours or so, which is just insane. So this is definitely one of the accounts I definitely get. Also, why? If we go here and we click on overview and we go to firm roles, we can also basically understand if my strategy works with this firm or not. For example, microscalping. Microscalping refers to a trading tactic where a trader attempts to capture very small price movements using very large size with extremely short time frames. For example, 5 seconds or less. My usual trades take about a couple of minutes, sometimes 5, 10, 15 minutes. So this is all good. Hedging, for example, you guys can take with each account. For example, let's say you have 2 accounts with one long, with one short at the same specific time. That would be hedging, and that's prohibited. So for example, my strategy doesn't work like that. So if I'm taking, for example, a long on one account and a short on the other account, it's usually different firms. So it's all good. An activity rule where 30 days, news trading rule allowed for all evaluation and all funded accounts except for Lucid Daily. So this is important. Sometimes I take trades on news, so we can actually do it with this specific account. And also if we check just consistency rules, we can see that on the Lucid Flex, we have a 50% evaluation consistency rule. That's all good. That's exactly why if we go here and we click on on accounts, as here it says my risk per account on Eval is basically $1,000. So this is exactly why I have this specific number. And also we can see that it works perfect for the accounts I get, which are the Lucid Flex. If we, for example, go to home and we check another account, for example, we can dive deep real quick into, I don't know, let's say, for example, check on Apex, which is another account that is very famous because we understand that the roles are very different compared to Lucid's, right? So this is exactly where we need to actually dive deep into Profit Match and check exactly if it's worth it for us or not. Number one, they're offering right now a 90% off discount code, right? Which is just insane. You guys can find it here in their website. Number two, their Trustpilot 4.2. That's awesome. Years in operation. They've been operating for 5 years. So all these data are basically very important. Also, we can see no payout delays. That's good to know. Then we, for example, scroll down and we can see here their firm roles. So on firm roles, we can see that there's way more roles in here. That's exactly why it's important for us to understand each prop firm role before investing our hard-earned money into a firm. In this case, if we understand that Apex has more roles compared to Lucid, we need to actually dive deep into this and review our numbers. I'm going to give you a quick tip of how I do it. If we actually go here and we go to Claude, I highly recommend doing the following, and that's exactly what I've been doing. I personally recommend using Fable 5 for this type of tasks. I know you guys are going to use a lot of tokens and also credits, but I highly recommend doing this specifically, which is basically number one, you have your backtesting data. That's why I always recommend having it on an Excel sheet, Google Sheet, or wherever you guys have it. You guys are just going to download this. In this case, because it's a Google Sheets, I go here, I click on download, and I download it as a Microsoft Excel file, so XLSX, right? And then I upload that into here. For example, this is one of my projects where I always ask, for example, to Claude if it's worth it or not. And for example, I want to show you guys this real quick. I actually posted after reviewing this rules, after reviewing this firm, then I basically just went into Apex, took screenshots to all the accounts, as you guys can see right here, for example, this one right here, which is the intraday trail, no activation fee, or for example, this one right here, which is the end of then trailed as a standard account. So you basically pay for the activation fee after passing. And then you guys just write a good prompt. This is of course in Spanish. And you basically ask if based on your data, remember you guys are gonna attach your data here. If based on your data, this specific system or this specific account works for it or not, right? Let's say for example, in the prompt, you're gonna write, of course, I didn't write it here because I wrote it up there. Like this is actually a project where I ask absolutely everything, and I've been doing this for like a month entirely. So there's a lot of data in this specific project on Claude, and you basically ask based on your win rate, based on your risk to reward, based on how much you want to risk, how much you have on a budget per month, and basically all these numbers right here, right? You're gonna basically ask Claude if it works for you or not. Of course, you need to do your own research, your own thoughts, but Claude of course helps you because there's like it's a very strong AI that is going to, of course, recommend you something that is worth it. But that's exactly why I highly recommend checking these roles first. As soon as you read them, right on the spot, you're going to know, of course, if it's going to maybe work for your account or your specific system, or if it's maybe not suitable based on your roles and based on your data. So in simple words, my step-by-step kind of like process is going into ProFirm Match. I check, of course, if the ProFirm is audited in there, if it appears. If it doesn't, then I just prefer to stay away, just being honest. If it does, I check, of course, all these things, if it has the payouts audited or not, and then I go into the rules, see if the rules make sense or if it's maybe gonna work. And after that, just to be 100% sure, I basically give all this information to Claude, plus, of course, attaching my data into the same Claude chat, and then reviewing if it's actually worth it or not. And then if it is, I start investing in those accounts. So that's why, for example, accounts that I'm getting right now or profits that I'm getting right now are, for example, Lucid, as you guys can see right there. Or for example, I've been getting a lot of Top Steps. I'm going to start getting some Apex accounts for sure. I'm going to, of course, get some Tradify, some Funded Next accounts, some All Prime accounts, and some other specific profits so that I can diversify, take different trades on different accounts, and hopefully start scaling as soon as possible. And now, of course, the part you guys were waiting the most for sure. So in simple words, after knowing what are my numbers, after knowing and showing you guys with full transparency, how is my business doing at the moment? As you guys can see, definitely a negative ROI, no payouts yet, right? Of course, pushing as hard as possible to get my first payout very soon. And also after showing you guys what specific profirms I'm getting and how I evaluate if it's worth it based on my system to go with a profirm or not, I'm gonna basically show you exactly why I keep buying Evals. This is basically something I created, which I call it a profirm business calculator, right? And we can evaluate actually this based on our numbers. First of all, this section is basically the results. So I don't move anything in here. This is basically gonna just update automatically as soon as I input my numbers, which are here. So we can go just step by step and show you guys exactly the reason why I keep buying accounts. And also it has a lot to do with the fact that when we're trading with profirms, we're not trading a live account. So we don't actually need to be the most profitable traders to make money with profirms. So first of all, how many accounts I plan to purchase per month? If of course my budget is 2,000 USD, that's about 20 accounts. Of course, considering that an approximate or like an average cost per account is around $90 to $110. So we approximate that to 20 accounts. Then my pass rate, if we see right here, this is basically 25%. So we actually come here and we change this to 25%, right? We just click there. We see that our average account size is $50,000, which is basically the accounts I get, which are 50K accounts. Then our challenge fee, we put this as $90. We can actually increase these to, let's say, 100 to be just a bit more precise. And then we have our payout rate, which is 33% with an average payout size of 2%. This means that basically we're requesting $1,000 payouts on each account, right? And then months to payout, this basically means that it takes us around 15 days to request a payout that honestly, after getting funded, I think that's very doable. So why right now I have not made any single profit? We right now can see that based on these numbers, as soon as I input these numbers, we can see that our monthly income potential is minus $700. So in simple words, we will be losing money with these specific numbers. The thing is, if of course I sit down and I reflect on my numbers, my metrics, and my execution when I've been live trading, I can immediately accept the fact, by being a man, that I've been disrespecting my rules. And this clearly shows in here that in this case, which is percentage trades of me following my rules, I tried to translate that as best as possible, we can see that it's 80%. Here it says the goal is 100%. We should be at 100%, which means that we should be respecting our rules 100% of the times. If this happens, what happens with our win rate? Of course, it increases. It increases to the point that we can actually reach our backtesting data, which is around 51 to 50% win rate. Let's keep it actually to 50%. If our win rate increases and we're still managing or risking the same amount, this definitely increases substantially, and this can definitely 100% increase to around 40%, which is basically what my data proves to be. This was actually 40%. It actually decreased to 25 the moment I started disrespecting my rules last week as well as the beginning of this week. So now let's change the numbers and let's understand why I still buy accounts. So if we see right here, if we keep these numbers like this, as they are right now, of course we're losing money. But let's say, for example, 20 accounts, we already understand, that's around $2,000 because each challenge fee is 100. The payout rate, of course, is going to increase. So let's say, for example, right away, pass rate, let's increase that to around 40%, right? We can right away see that by just respecting our rules, increasing a bit our win rate, our pass rate, of course, increases substantially. We can start making money because, of course, we're going to pass more accounts and we are going to have more opportunities to get a payout on a funded, right? Then let's, for example, increase our payout rate. Why increase our payout rate? Because, of course, if we're respecting our rules and we're keeping our risk a bit less, because on funded accounts, I'm not risking $1,000 per trade. I'm risking between 500 to even, I don't know, 400 per trade and trying to aim for bigger RRs. So my accounts last longer, which means that my payout rate, it's more likely for me to get a payout. It's more likely for me not to blow an account. It's more likely for me that if I stick to my rules, I can get to a payout, right? Maybe it takes me more time, but I can get to a payout for sure. And you can actually increase that, let's say, for example, let's not increase that too much. Let's increase it, for example, to 38%, right? We can right away see that this number is now $2,000, which means we're having an ROI of 52% already. We passed from having a negative profit or, negative balance of 700 per month, of course, approximate, these are all approximate numbers, to making around $2,000 monthly income potential per month, right? A profit of $1,040. So we're investing $2,000 and we're making a profit $1,040. That's a really good business, right? If we, of course, start scaling this, we can make more money, right? Simple as that. Then we can see that our average payout size is 2%, which means we only take profit, or we, for example, in a lucid account, we climb or we get to a balance of 52,000 and we request our payout, which is a $1,000 payout, right? That's a 2% on a 50K Eval or 50K funded. If we actually start having more accounts, more funded, and we start just taking or paying less attention to each account and we just want to start scaling, we can start actually increase these to 3%, which means that we're going to take basically a $1,500 payout. If we actually change this to 3%, we can right away see the increase in monthly income potential. We literally increased around $3,000 more. So now our profit, by investing the same specific amount, which is just 20 accounts, a total of 2,000 USD per month, we start actually making a profit of $2,560 with an investment of $2,000. Now, let's actually start scaling, right? Because I want to get to $10,000 a month. If we actually start buying more accounts, let's say that I purchase 30 accounts now, We keep the pass rate the same, we keep the challenge fee the same, the payout rate is also the same, and the average payout size is the same. And we take around 15 days to get to a payout, which is this one right here. You guys can see there's 0.50, which means that on a month, I get around 50, or it takes me around 2 weeks to get to a payout. And we change this number. We can see that now we're talking about a $3,840 profit by investing $3,000. So we're basically having more than a 100% ROI. And I want to ask you guys, what business model offers a 100% ROI? And I'm not selling smoke. I'm not even doing it at this point, but this is exactly the main reason I keep buying accounts. Because with this Profit Business Calculator and also understanding my numbers at its finest, I understand that this business is very lucrative. I can actually make money if I stick to my rules. We can actually even start scaling more, bro. Let's say 50 accounts. Let's say that now I go for 4% payouts. And let's say, for example, that my, pass rate improved a little bit. Let's say 2% more, 42. Look at this, bro. Look at this. I can be making $10,000 profit per month by investing a total of $5,000 and of course staying true to my system, increasing a bit my numbers and just being a better trader. Simple as that. So this is exactly how you guys scale. This is exactly how we need to understand our profit business model. And of course, everything with full transparency, because we need to be honest and we need to know exactly what we need to improve and what we're doing specifically wrong. By doing this, I understand that this number looks awful at this point, but I know that if I stay consistent and I start actually making better decisions and keeping myself emotionally stable, I can actually get to these numbers very quick. So yeah, man, by understanding these numbers, we can definitely change as traders and achieve great results trading with futures. And that's exactly why I keep purchasing accounts. And the main point of this video again, guys, is make sure to gather as much data as you can. Make sure to backtest as much as possible. Make sure to use resources as AI, bro. There's nothing wrong with using AI to ask questions, to evaluate your numbers, to evaluate your metrics. And also important, very, very important, make sure, guys, to use Profit Match so that you can get the most reliable prop firms. Make sure you're investing your money in something that is trustworthy. And also, as I told you, get the best discounts in the industry for each specific firm. Why? So you guys can, of course, increase your ROI and get the accounts at the best price and the best discount at the best, of course, budget. So this number, challenge fee, hopefully can decrease. And if it decreases, let's say, for example, you start getting accounts instead of $100 at $90, look at these numbers. This definitely changes a lot. So that's basically what I wanted to show you guys in this video, always showing you everything with full transparency. I invite you guys to follow me in this journey, follow me in this process to $10,000 in payouts with futures prop firms. I've received 0 payouts right now, but I know I'm gonna get to that goal for sure very, very soon. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked this video and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.